We don't show prep. So, so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a 6-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards of hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
I'm very thrown off by what just happened there. Did the opening play twice for you guys?
No.
Nope.
So weird. It played twice, like it dubbed over. Anyways, hi.
Do you have YouTube open on another window or something where it's...
No, that's so weird. So weird, man. Anyways.
You need a producer.
Hey!
Good,
what do you think I'm doing here, man? Anyway. Dan Barry, shout out to Fresh. You could all say bye to GJ as I boot him out of the staff. The show with my producer rights.
We got a lot of people already chiming in. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I wasn't with you guys yesterday on your post game, excuse me, but I can only imagine.
It was Blue and myself.
I can only imagine how that one went, but really quick.
I was nice. I didn't even call out Blue's pick. I let him go without bringing up the fact that he picked Louisville. Yeah, that was nice.
You are too nice sometimes.
Yeah, I'm magnanimous in my victories here this year. Act like you've been there, even though I haven't. So
right, yeah. Well, I haven't been there in like 20 years.
Oh, so. I've been on the other end where it's like where I got 10 wins from, and we have 3 in end of November. But let's keep going.
Jesus. Well, good news is it is FSU week. We love this week. Our rivalry. It's rivalry week for the Miami Hurricanes, and it's going to be fun because it's a night game on Saturday night. So got a lot of things. A lot of people are going to be sauced up. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a really good game, I think, for the Hurricanes. Oh, we'll talk about it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. And we'll go over really quick before we'll kind of just recap a little bit of that Miami Louisville game as well. But before we get there, give a shout out to our sponsor, You Break Will Fix. When you get a chance there, Vish.
Well, we really need a producer, so
Yeah, jeez. Have you ever run over a pothole so hard your steering wheel shakes, constantly losing air in your tires that you need to keep adding air? Chances are there's an issue with your wheels, and You Break Wheel Fix is your solution. You Break Wheel Fix is Miami's premier wheel repair and restoration company. With over 20 years of experience and located in North Miami, You Break Will Fix offers quick repairs for damaged wheels and, in most cases, can offer free loaner wheels to keep you on the road while they repair your damaged wheels. If your wheels are looking weathered and it's time to freshen up your car, don't replace, refinish. Their in-house wheel refinishing solutions, such as powder coating, machining, and polishing, will give your car the like-new look it deserves. So contact Mark and his staff at 305-748-0112 or on all social media outlets at You Break Will Fix. That's the letter U, Break Wheel Fix. Mention 5 reasons and get 5.5% off your next repair. It's You Break Will Fix powder coating and wheel repair. 305-748-0112, located at 1848 Northeast 134th Street in North Miami. That's 305-748-0112. You Break Will Fix. All right. All right. So kind of get into it really quick. FSU's hot dog water. Jesus, we're starting already. I love it. I love it, Terrence. I can't wait for the 45-42. He almost got it right again. He almost got it right.
This time he was close. This time he was right there, man.
That's Ralphie.
Yeah,
right?
Ralph always comes in with the 45-42 prediction. Terrence,
awesome.
I don't know what hot dog water ever did to you, but man, that was an unfair comparison to the drain water that they soak hot dogs in. Because
man, I love that hot dog water. So real quick, DJ, I know we didn't get to talk a lot about that Louisville game. I know Vish and Blue kind of went at it, I'm sure, a little bit. But DJ, I want to get your thoughts before I go crazy a little bit. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Well, I think, the hallmark of this team is not going to be its defense, and that's become very clear over the last couple of weeks. But what I did like to see is the balance. We've talked about Miami falling in love, and rightfully so, with Cam Ward and the extremely talented group of wide receivers. And, Sam Brown did his thing, Restrepo did his thing, 125 yards and 121 yards respectively. But it was the running game with 222 yards on the ground on 37 carries, averaging 6 yards a carry. And over the last couple of weeks, we wondered, can we get this running game going? We need to see some life in the running game just in case we can't always rely on the pass. And this was the game where they really broke out. I mean, you talk about Damian Martinez and A.J. Allen both scoring touchdowns. And, one of the things that you two brought up, and I totally agree with, was trying to get Allen involved in the offense more. And he was able to make a contribution on Saturday. So it was good to see kind of the more balanced offense, and in particular, the solid production in the running game.
Yeah. What was great about the running game is that 72, look at fresh 72-7. Jesus.
I just enjoyed the cocky Canes fan is back and FSU sucks. That's going to be a fun week.
By the way, bless you. Okay. I saw that. I saw it.
I didn't care. I was on mute. I was, respecting.
I know. So I got to say,
People audio on the podcast, I would have no idea until you under the guise of being polite, called me out. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. Well, now the podcast people know. Yeah. Look, I think that the most exciting part about that running game is that we were able to do it in a shootout. You know what I mean? We were able to do it in this shootout format where we could still rely on that running game to get us chunk plays, to move us down the field, and then we can hit them with those passes, right? So it's a little bit of everything. Obviously, we had a couple of touchdowns on the ground as well. Damian Martinez with probably the run of his life, the run of the year so far, I think, in the NCAA. That was unbelievable, man. And for those of you asking why is Damian Martinez here, that's why he's here, right? Because in the fourth quarter, okay, when, it's crunch time and you need to, put them away or whatever you want to say, or kind of break their will a little bit. You run the ball on an inside dive play for 30 yards and you run some people over and you drag 4 or 5 defenders into the end zone. That's what Damian Martinez is here for. So, the running game was really impressive. I love what he did. I love what Fletcher did. I know he fumbled that ball, but he still looks really good as well. He'll be okay. He's not a big fumbler, so I think he'll be all right. But I love that, and I think A.J. Allen knows this, and I think Chris Ball kind of knows this as well. That, and at the end of the game, when you need to run the football, he's so confident in A.J. Allen. A.J. Allen is kind of like his closer, right? That's what it feels like. He's kind of like the closer of the backs because he's what, 5'9", 5'10", maybe at the most, but he's all around. He's probably our most all around, well-rounded back. He's got a little bit of speed. He's got a little bit of strength, right? He can hit the corners. He can run inside. He can make you miss a little bit. He can break some. He can do it all. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I love that they showed his, kind of his playmaking ability there at the end of the game, and brought him in late and brought him in the second half to kind of change the pace a little bit of that running attack. I was really excited to see that. Obviously, Cam Ward, another Heisman moment. He's the best player in college football right now. I don't care what anybody says. He's absolutely.
There are times when I'm like just laughing watching him play.
Yeah,
it's so
ridiculous.
silly.
It's silly. It really is. It's like a video. It's literally a video.
Like that throw to Jacoby for the touch. I'm just like, what the hell is this?
That was. I mean, that.
what are we even watching, man? What are we?
Right.
Yeah. After he the guy tried to pull him down, he spun out of the sack and then just drifted over, throws a dime to the back end. You're just like, what is this, man? This guy's playing a different sport.
40-yard bullet.
Guys played a different sport.
It's
unbelievable.
However, I am going to ruin the party here by saying that our defense sucks right now. That
is how we started the show yesterday.
our defense sucks, and kudos to them for getting that one stop, that fumble, and that recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. Great play. Love it. That's awesome. But you don't have enough of that. You're not getting enough pressure up front. Ruben Bain, is doing. Actually, Ruben Bain is getting up. He's getting his pressure. Simeon Barrow is doing all right. But at the end of the day, our secondary is playing like, as my good friend likes to say, culito. Okay, they're playing terrible right now. Jalen Harris looks lost out there. And to be quite honest with you, unfortunately, I don't trust the defense to make a stop when they need to. Now, that's again against good offenses, right? Against a good offense, your defense needs to step up and make some plays. Did we get a good stop there at the end of the game? Yes, to go up 2 scores, that's great. But you need more stops like that. This game we should have kicked their ass. Let's just put it the way that it should be put. We should have kicked their ass. We should have been a 52-20, 52-17. We just couldn't stop them on offense. And then when we did stop them, they get a 4th down. They convert on a 4th down, a fake punt, or there's a penalty, or there's this or that. There's always a little bit of something, right, where we kind of, can't stop them. So I'm disappointed in this defense. Honestly, we're missing too many tackles as well. There's just a lot going on that they need to correct, and I don't know if they're going to get it to the point where it's going to be a dominant defense. Do I still think that a lot of those things are correctable? Yes, but I also think that you need to put some new players in there to start making some plays, specifically in the secondary. Vish, I want to talk to you about it also because you saw this debauchery on defense as well, but I think you need to start playing some other guys in the secondary, specifically at safety, right? I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw Zaquan playing a little bit more towards. So this is what he's going to say. He's not going to say we're going to mix it all up and bench people and all that. But you saw Zaquan getting more reps towards the middle end of the game. We'll probably see more of that. I do agree a little bit with Fresh that our linebackers are they're flashing, but they're not consistent. Like I saw Kiko run himself out of multiple plays on their first touchdown drive where their long touchdown run, he ran himself into the line instead of tracking the running back, and that's where the gap opened up.
We didn't have Malik Bryant either. He was sick.
Yeah, he was sick. I mean, there's just to your point, it's little things here and there. Those missed tackles are, sometimes they're causing big plays. Sometimes they're, turning what should be a 3rd and 8 into a 3rd and 4, and that's easier for them to convert. So the missed tackling is really frustrating because that just shouldn't happen. And yeah, we seem to, I know this isn't the case, but it feels like we almost lack focus. Like we just blow assignments and give up chunk plays that make it difficult to get stops. The other thing is, Jazz, you mentioned, you don't trust them to get a stop. I feel like they can't finish drives because you need to string a couple of plays there. The one stop they did get, they got an intentional grounding, and that kind of derailed Louisville's drive. But that was good pass rush, right? So and we're gonna need more of that. You got to make a couple of to stop a drive. We are not good enough to we're going to force 3 incompletions. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
In a row. We need to do a negative play or a force play, something to force them into a negative situation so we can get off the field at this point. And so you're looking at that. I get it. The secondary, we knew it was a weakness coming into the year. It's being exposed. And then our linebacker play, I would say, has been a little bit disappointing. Again, they flash. Like, Kiko will make 2 or 3 hits a game. You're like, damn.
Right.
And then obviously, like, the fumble was like, that was Peepo getting in there. That's big time, right? Those are big time plays. You see Wes make 2 or 3 really great plays a game.
And then he gets lost on that.
Yeah,
on that
it's the consistency that's missing there. It's the consistency that's missing there. But I'm looking at this defensive line, right? And they played okay. They were not the problem. However, we need them to be the solution. Because frankly, that's where you got Bain, who played well, like you said. You got Barron, you got Mesidor, you got Simeon Barrow. You need to mess people up with that. Like, that cannot be, oh, you're getting pressure occasionally, you're doing okay. You need to dominate that matchup for the rest of the defense to work. And, since the 3rd or 4th week of the season, we've seen, again, they've been good. Don't get me wrong, the defensive line is by far carrying their weight on a normal
ways
defense.
to get the ball out quick. I get that. But there's also sometimes where they've had some time to throw, right?
Right. And it's just, but this is the thing, the standard for us to play, championship level defense, given our offense, right? This is not going to be a top 5 defense, period. The defense lines get to play above, what you should reasonably expect. Right. They need to consistently get pressure to bail out the rest of the defense. Doing it 1 every 3 plays is good if you have really good linebackers and good secondary the way we're playing. No, you do it 2 out of 3 plays, right? So it's really, in a way, it's unfair to them because we're asking them to really carry the whole defense. But that's, if you look at the talent there, I mean, what is that, 4 first-round picks, 3 first-round picks on that defensive line? That's where you got to do it. And, they're still playing well, so I don't want to exaggerate and be like, oh, man, they're not playing well. They're just not playing at that elite, every play is a disaster. Basically, like what Ohio State did to Texas's offensive line in the first half, where every snap they're just like, we haven't seen that in a while. And I think that's the only way I can see this defense. Georgia. Yeah. Not Ohio State. Mixing up my red teams here, man. I don't know. They're all worse than us anyway, so it doesn't matter. They all have losses, but more on that for Jazz later. Setting you up. We'll hold it back, man. Hold it back. We're going to clear the floor. I might technology you into full screen for this one. So I think we're going to have to unleash the beast here more on that. But I do think that, look, the secondary is what it is. We're not going to you can't sign a free agent, bring him in like a lockdown corner.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, you can.
Not in the middle of the season. In the offseason, we can, but we need to win the championship this year because Cam Ward's not coming back. So I think it's the defensive line just needs to flash more. Again, generate a negative play, and then we can get off the field, right? And that's kind of the goal.
Right. I think that, Ralph brings up a good point, that it's the communication between linebackers and the secondary. That's what he means, I'm sure, by the backfield. Just clean it up. Yeah, they've got a lot to clean up, and it is lack of discipline, lack of communication. You see it with Jaden. How lost did Jaden Harris look all game, Vish? I mean, I know I texted you about it. I was very frustrated about it, but Jaden Harris looks kind of lost out there, man. And even Mish Powell is slow. So while he might be in position to make some plays, he doesn't make them because sometimes he can't get to the guy quick enough. He's made some decent plays throughout the year, but there's a little bit of a deficiency there. Then you see a little bit of a change with Zaquan when he comes in. He's able to cover those tight ends. I still think that was a fumble. I get why they called it an incomplete pass, but he almost forced that fumble on that tackle. I think it was Mark Redmond that he tackled.
It was definitely closer to a fumble than the Cam Ward throw that he threw the ball.
Yeah, that was the referee trying to screw crap up. Right. So I think, look, there's things that need to be cleaned up, but I think we just need to play better football, period. We need to tackle better. We need to, communicate better, and stop overrunning plays, stop getting in the wrong gaps. And that's a little bit of coaching, and that's also, the player not executing. Because maybe the right play is called and you go into the wrong gap. Look, that touchdown run, the play right before it, they called the same exact play. He ran the ball. He got 7 yards, 8 yards. He just tripped. If he didn't trip, he's gone. So what did they do? They ran the same exact play again. The guy took off and he scored a touchdown. And they were in the wrong gap again. You got to be better than that, right? You have to be better than that. You can't let those kind of things happen. So that's the frustrating part. And also from a special teams perspective, very disappointed in Borregales the first half. It was like 5 straight kickoffs where he didn't hit it and he didn't touch back. There were no touchbacks for like 5 straight kickoffs.
Caught us in the second half.
Bit us in the ass. Bit us in the ass because he couldn't put it in the end zone. Then after that, all of a sudden he could put it in the end zone. It boggles my mind, right? And that again, that's a lack of focus, a lack of intensity. Kick the ball out of the damn end zone. You got a strong enough leg. Quit eating crap.
I mean, that same direction, he made a field goal from 55 yards. So yeah, I think,
what's going on here? And then on the other side, Chris Johnson is the worst, fastest player I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I don't know if I've said this to you. I don't think I've said this out loud on this show, but I'm like, if he ever learns how to actually run, he's going to be much better because he's fast, but he doesn't know.
He's tiptoeing, trying to find a place. Hit a hole and take off. Nobody's going to catch you, dude. But hit a hole. His vision is not great. Okay, he's tiptoeing around when he's the fastest guy on the field when he touches the ball. We got to be better than that, my man.
He doesn't really know how to run.
No.
And again, they can teach some of that.
He doesn't make people miss either with how fast.
Yeah, well, I think you can coach some of that. You can teach some of that. He's gonna need some. He's probably being put on the field before he's ready because he's fast, and they're like, oh, he's fast. But I think at some point it's gotta he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't. I mean, was it the Virginia Tech game where he could have scored 2 touchdowns and he kind of ran himself out of them? It's just but that's something that you can't teach his speed. You can teach those things. I just don't know that he needs to be out there right now, given all the players we have. I was happy this was the first game I can remember where we didn't stub him in on offense with everyone on both teams knowing he's getting the ball immediately.
Yeah, right.
So we didn't do that this time. So that was
I didn't see much of him. Didn't see Jordan Lyle, I don't think either. So I just think that when it gets what you're starting to see, in my opinion, is they're starting to shrink down their substitutions. They're kind of they're getting to the nitty gritty, right? They're getting into that time of in their schedule where they know who their guys are. They know what they're going to do. They can't use so many guys anymore. They're kind of going to, condense their players and how many they use and how many substitutions, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you have. Although I'm all for giving the ball more to Lyle. You know how I feel about the kid. I think he's a star in the making, but there's not much to complain about on offense, aside from the fact that they really didn't throw the ball to the tight ends.
0 catches, DJ. 0 catches, and I think 0 targets too. If I'm not mistaken.
It was weird.
Which is a little odd. All joking aside, given that the position has been a source of strength for them this season. Well, not a source of strength, but a source of production, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I agree. It was a little odd. I saw them blocking a lot. I saw them doing some really good things, but I know they were probably open, but
I was going to say, to be fair, it's not like the offense struggled. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't really too big of a deal. It was just interesting given how they were such a factor over the first couple of weeks.
Right. It's kind of weird, but maybe they'll get it going again.
I will say this: a couple of things happened in this game. Right, we got Jalen Rivers back, which made a huge difference in the running game. And the second thing is Louisville was the first defense I saw really just we're going to try and take the pass away. So they had a lot more traffic around the tight ends, and I think all of that opened up our running game. So probably more of a blocking game for the tight ends than receiving, because when we were throwing, we were taking shots because it was against. It was after we had some effective run plays, we'd loosen them up a little bit, and it was more taking shots down the field. And essentially, I think in the first 6 games, we had a lot more, throws to the tight ends, which were like an extension of the running game because we weren't running the balls effectively. In this game, we ran all over them, so we didn't really need to do that. So
and he still threw for 320. So
it's
silly,
stupid.
Probably one of the more balanced games of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just to answer fresh here, is Brown ready to play the next game? No, I think they. Cristobal mentioned, as Ralph said right on top of you, that Damari Brown will count as our late season free agent lockdown corner. Yeah, he's supposed to be coming back with the last 2 or 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So hopefully we get him back, because he obviously helps set secondary.
Yeah, one thing, and obviously Jazz, you and DJ know this because we cover the team, but for those that aren't aware, there's these weird oddities with schedules every once in a while. This is one of those years we get a second bye week. So we have another bye week after the Georgia Tech game.
Kind of crazy. So that's weird.
So there's kind of another rest spot for us where, again, we saw us pull Rivers back this week after kind of getting maximum, make sure he's healthy, we're probably doing something similar with Damari at this point. Because again, look, I mean, everyone can accuse me of being too optimistic, but if we're going to win the championship, we have 9 more games to play.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
lot.
crazy.
So they'll probably be a little bit more careful than they would have in years past, where the max you're going to play is like 12, 13 games. I mean, our 2001 team, that was a 12-game schedule, including the bowl game. So, as this is expanded, you're playing more games. I think coaches are being more cautious because, look, wear and tear matters. You want to make sure they get back 100% healthy before putting them back on the field. Because, again, it's still 9 games. Still 9 games because it's the 12 games of the regular season, conference championship, and 3 rounds of playoffs. So it's a lot. So, even if they bring him back after the bye week, that's 3 more games from now. That means he'll play 6 games still. So there's going to be, I think, a lot more players resting.
All right. Well, let's do underdog.
All right, let's do that.
So
easier said than done.
Before we get into this damn rant of mine.
Guess what, everyone? Football is back, and it's here to stay until February. Did you know that you can enhance your football viewing experience with Underdog Fantasy? Join over 1 million fans across 33 states that made picks on Underdog last year. My personal favorite is the higher-lower plays on my favorite NFL players on Sunday mornings after watching the Canes win on Saturday. The website is easy to use, and the plays are easy to make. I love playing CeeDee Lamb higher rushing yards and waiting for the Cowboys to run a reverse. I never got into fantasy football because I didn't want to cheer against my own team, but with Underdog Fantasy, I can support my team by making picks for higher stat lines. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code 5REASONS. That is the word 5 reasons spelled out FIVEREASONS. And Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code 5REASONS, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit over.
Must be 18 or over, 19 or over in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, dial 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369.
All right. Look at you wearing your Marlins shirt, by the way. I just realized that. Look at you wearing the Marlins shirt, representing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That
We're equal opportunity. We're not.
An organization. Unbelievable.
You got to remind people they exist. So,
well,
this is a professional franchise in Miami, by the way.
They're on hallowed ground, all right, man.
It's semi-professional, I guess.
I will always thank the Marlins for beating the Yankees in 2003 after Aaron Boone hit the game-winning home run in the ALCS.
Those were the glory years of the Florida Marlins, the Miami Marlins, however.
And then we completed the biggest comeback, the biggest choke job in Major League Baseball history too by the Yankees after that.
All because Aaron Boone decided to play pickup basketball and twist his ankle, leading to the signing of Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, there you go. Well, good for you, Marlins, and good for you, Red Sox. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna root for the Marlins. When the Sox aren't in it, of course. I root for the Marlins. I want the Marlins to do good, man. They're a local team, but they're on hollowed ground, so they need to move. But aside from that, that's not going to happen ever. It's FSU week, as I mentioned earlier. Rivalry week. Miami remains number 6 in the polls. Vish and Daniel Gillette.
You know what? I think we need DJ. I think we need technology for this. Jazz
has the floor.
Floor is yours.
And let's pull up some stats here. Number 6 in the country. And for those of you, actually, first of all, for those of you that are saying it doesn't matter what we're ranked, just keep winning. No, it matters. It matters. And let me explain to you why. Okay, if I can pull it up here. Jeez Louise. Okay, let's talk about, first of all, the But did I put two of them here? Did I put two things up? I put two of them. There we go. All right, here we go. Number 1. Wins versus current FPI top 40 opponents, right? So you look at teams like Georgia and Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and LSU. All these teams, that's great. Look, Notre Dame's 3-0. What? They're ranked inside the top 10 now, I think. Texas A&M 3-1. Georgia 3-1. LSU 3-1. Bama is 3-1. Texas 2-1. Miami's 3-0, folks, against the FPI top 40. Yet a team like Texas, who, by the way, let's talk about Texas for a second. Okay, Texas, who has not played a difficult game all season long, because for everybody talking crap about how good Quinn Ewers looked, he just got exposed against Georgia. That whole entire Texas team got exposed against Georgia. Okay, you're talking about a Texas team that hasn't played a good quarterback the whole entire time until they face Carson Beck. What happens when they face Carson Beck? They get their asses kicked, right? So we're talking about a Texas team that stayed in the top 5 after losing to Georgia. Before that, they hadn't played a strong FPI, right? And this is all according to FPI, which FPI for some reason has us number 10 in the country in the FPI rankings. However, we're 3-0 in the FPI against the FPI top 40. All these things matter. Let me explain to you why they matter. Because if Miami, God forbid, drops a game, they're going to take them completely out of the whole entire thing. They probably won't play in the ACC championship game. They won't make the top 12. They won't be in the playoffs because of one game. However, if you look at the FPI top 40, they're still better than half of those teams that have lost, like Texas, right? Like Texas, like some other teams. Texas A&M is another team. Kansas State, Penn State is only 1-0. Ohio State's is 1-1, and Clemson's 0-1 against an FPI top 40 team. So for anybody to sit here and say, well, Miami shouldn't have moved from the top 6 or who cares, it matters. Miami should be a top 5 program. Hands down, without a question. Now, I get Oregon's undefeated. They deserve to be in the top 5. Okay? Oregon is actually 2-0 in the FPI ranking against the top 40 teams. Okay? But if that's not enough for you, that's not enough. Number 6 is fine. Let's talk about where they are in strength of schedule via ESPN. And Vish, you know that, come on. Vish, you know that the ESPN, how biased they are towards SEC and Big 12 teams, right? We talk about this all the time. No, but that's where the money is. That's where the money is. Yeah, no shit. Let me explain to you how we know this for a fact. Undefeated teams, strength of schedule via ESPN. Oregon ranked 39th. That's their strength of schedule, 39th. Miami, Florida, right? You know, the Miami Hurricanes, the one that's number 6, 42nd. Okay, then followed by BYU, then Penn State, who is a top 5 team, okay, who has a lower rating in the FPI versus top 40 teams. Iowa State, another team who's undefeated. The list goes on and on, right? These are all the undefeated teams. Oregon number 1, Miami number 2. Yet we're still sitting at number 6 in the country. The blatant bias against this Miami Hurricanes program because we're winning shootouts or we're coming from behind. When you're talking about a team like Alabama, who now has 2 losses and they just cracked the top 15, right? Like, it's pretty pathetic, man. You're talking about an Ohio State team who has a lower FPI ranking than Miami. You talk about a Texas team who has a lower FPI ranking than Miami. The only one that has a higher FPI ranking than Miami is Georgia. Well, not even. They're 3-1. Notre Dame is 3-0, and they're in the top 10 behind us because they have that one loss. So to me, I'm getting tired of this narrative of this whole the ACC is no good, or Miami hasn't played anybody, or their strength of schedule, or the bias between the SEC, Big 12, and their contracts with ESPN. At a point, it starts to become obnoxious that we've had to deal with this for so long. The blatant hate and bias towards Miami is just getting absurd. It's ridiculous. Miami deserves. I know that a lot of people don't care about rankings, and in the grand scheme of things, it matters. Okay, and maybe we don't care. We just got to win. Yes, bottom line is just keep winning, and we'll be there. But you're talking about a team that has a better ranking in the FPI top 40 and against their strength of schedule. Excuse me, their strength of schedule in the remaining undefeated teams. Give Miami their respects, put them where they belong, and quit the crap. And that's AP, that's the coaches poll, that's the FPI, that's everybody. Quit the crap. Look at what they're doing on the field against really good teams, because Virginia Tech is a solid football program. I hate to say it, but Florida is now 4-3 after some big wins in the SEC as well. Okay, Cal, mediocre football program, but they're still at 500 or better. Okay, and so on and so forth. So don't sit here and tell me that Miami doesn't deserve it or who cares, because they deserve it. They should be in the top 5. They should be ahead of Texas. Okay, and some could say they should be ahead of maybe even a Penn State. Okay. Put them in the top 5, give them their worth, and let's just keep winning football games. But I think that it's obvious how much crap and how much bias there is out there towards a team like the Miami Hurricanes. I don't care about the defense; they're still winning football games against you guys. What I just showed you tells me right now. What I just showed you. Forget about all that. Forget about that. They're playing good programs. They're playing good teams. Tyler Shug and that Louisville team is a really good team. Jeff Brom is one of the best play callers in college football. Yes, our defense sucks. I get it. But we're still beating the daylights out of people. And our rankings show. And I think that if you continue to make excuses for why they shouldn't be ranked in the top 6 and you're a Canes fan, then you have to reevaluate yourself as a fan as well. Bottom line.
I just add to that comment on the defense. Yeah, but it's the number 1 offense in the country. And if you watched, there were 2 top 10 SEC games on Saturday, and none of those teams could come close to playing offense the way the Canes do. But no one looks at them and says, like, how come Texas, the number 1 team in the country, put 2 quarterbacks in and both played like ass?
Yeah.
If they had Cam Ward, they would have won that game by 30. And I think, we tend to just this is the way college football is now, and it's going to be with NIL. You don't build that depth in where you're just rotating in NFL teams like we did in the early 2000s. That crap is never going to happen again. And when people say, well, I know what a great team looks like, it's that where it's like top 5 offense and defense. That crap ain't happening. And because if you have a really good backup, he's already in the portal. He's going to go somewhere else and start. And so you're just not building that level of depth. And you watch Tennessee and Alabama 7-0 at halftime. Yeah, maybe they're playing better defense than us. I'm sure they are, because everyone acknowledges, including us, the defense is not good. It's not playing well. But they sure as hell aren't playing better offense than we are. And both of those sides count. So us, like when one of those teams wins a 3-point game, Georgia beat Kentucky, was it 15-10 or whatever ridiculous? It's like, oh man, great.
It was 13-12, I think. Actually.
Whatever it was some low-scoring game, and you're like, oh man, Georgia just knows how to look at them, gut it out with fire on defense, and then like we win a game 52-45, and it's that's fine. Like that's a bad thing now, and against a better team than they played, it's just it's a double standard. The other
Carson
thing,
Beck is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in college football. Sorry, Vish, but like I just can't stand.
Be careful. He's dating Hannah Cavender, so we're a little bit neutral there.
Okay.
Is he really?
Yes. Oh. By the way, parents, we got a show tomorrow night. I saw your question way earlier. Here it is. Show tomorrow night. We got Muriel Page, coach from the Hurricanes, on the show too. So check that out tomorrow at 9. But
Georgia next or no?
Whatever.
Are they transferring to Georgia next time?
No, this is the end of eligibility. Well, the other one's dating Ferguson, the tight end from the Cowboys.
Yeah,
right.
I like Ferguson against Sam Beck.
But anyway, the other thing, Jazz, you were talking about, a lot of this is the perception of when the teams played, because, Virginia Tech is, man, they have that terrible loss in overtime at Vanderbilt, who they've now inexplicably ranked. So now that's a good loss, right? They lost at a ranked team on the road in overtime.
Right.
No, they're dead because of that same game that Alabama lost worse. And it's just because at the time they lost, it's like, who loses to Vanderbilt? Now they've ranked Vanderbilt, but that still counts as a bad loss for them. LSU's loss, they're the team that lost to USC, because USC is terrible. At the time, remember, that was that Sunday night game where everyone's like, oh, man, these are two really good teams. It turns out USC is terrible.
It's not that good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so LSU losing them, that's a bad
defense.
Yeah, but LSU losing them, that's a bad loss. But it doesn't matter because at the time it was like, oh, you lost to a ranked team. It's not that bad. So you don't drop them. You never go back and reevaluate. To your point, Jess, Michigan and Oklahoma were Texas's two good wins. We now know they stink. Right? But at the time, it's like, oh, man, they're crushing these ranked teams. Yeah, but those teams aren't good. We never go back and do the reevaluation. You are really hamstrung by what did the team look like when you played them. The fact that Virginia Tech is likely to go 9-3 and we might play them again in Charlotte doesn't matter because when we played them, they had 2 losses and they were 3-2 or whatever. So no one's ever going to look back on that and say, hey, that was a really good football team game between two good teams. It's always, why is Miami in a close game with a bad team, regardless of where they finish? And that's one of the issues with this. Once they rank someone high, you know, they just decide that's where they're supposed to be. I mean, Ole Miss is probably the best example of that. Their resume is awful, really bad, no good wins, a bad home loss, and they're ranked ahead of Pitt still. They have 2 losses. Pitt's undefeated. I mean, this is because they started them in the top 5 because they're like, man, Ole Miss is really good this year. No, they're not.
I was just about to say, it all starts with the way that these teams are ranked during the preseason over the course of what they did the year before. And that's another thing, too. They're ranked off of what they did the year before. You take a look at, like, Washington, for example, this year not this year, but a couple of years when they made the national championship game, they lost all their talent and they were still ranked. And, you know, people were wondering why they're still ranked, or even Michigan this year. They lost a ton of talent. They were still ranked high, and they were in the top 25 at one point with 2 losses, and they're now finally out. But it's like automatically ranking teams based off of what they did the year before, especially some of these higher ranked teams. I've never agreed with that system, and it's really kind of shown its ugly head again this year.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example is obviously FSU as well, right? Ranked number 10 in the country.
Yeah, yep.
Start
crazy. They're 1-6. We'll get to them in a minute.
We all saw, but anyway.
No, we talked about this before season. Like, I don't think they're good. Look, they lost their whole team. Why are they good? And actually, as DJ pointed out, you know, Michigan, the same thing. Their whole team left, including their coach. Why do people think they're good? Same thing with Washington. I mean, we took their safety.
Yeah. Well, look, and look, I'm going back to Texas, and this is not me knocking them. I still think they're a good football team, right? Like, I think they're a solid team. They're not the best team in the country, obviously. I think that if you look at everybody, you still probably put Georgia there as a top team in the country.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, as you mentioned, Vish, they're 2 good wins. We're against a Michigan team that doesn't have a quarterback, right? They started Orgy, they started the other kid, they started like 3 different quarterbacks. They don't have a quarterback, so they haven't gone against a solid quarterback in Michigan. Then they played USC, right? Was it USC? No.
Yeah.
Texas played USC?
No.
Michigan
played USC.
Oklahoma.
I'm sorry. Oklahoma, who everybody thought Jackson Arnold was the next coming of anybody that you can name, any of these, Jason White or whatever, right? The next coming over there of the greatest quarterback in the world at Oklahoma. He didn't pan out. They benched him for another freshman quarterback in that kid, the kid that they have there now. And so they haven't played. They fired their offensive coordinator today, Oklahoma. That's how they're going.
A lot of coordinators got fired today.
Well, and this is the thing too, Jazz. It extends beyond that because that's Tennessee's big win. Like, they beat Alabama in a close game this week. Alabama's very suspect at this point. They've lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Tennessee. They basically played a good half against Georgia, and remember, they struggled all the way to the end of that USF game.
Yep.
They had to squeak out. I believe it was South Carolina who played them right to the end. I think it was South
Carolina.
But Tennessee blew out Oklahoma and Norman, and everyone's like, man, look at this team. Now, the fact that they immediately promptly lost to Arkansas,
right,
and then won in overtime against Florida because Florida wussed out the end and didn't go for the winning 2-point conversion, like that is not being evaluated. So it's an odd system. And to everyone, like, yes, like, this is actually an encore. If we went out, we're going to get a bye. But even within those seedings, not all of them are created equal. Because you get to pick your location.
Right.
The quarterfinal games are bowl games. You get to pick your location. If we're the number 1 team, let's say, we get to the semifinal, we get to play in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
That matters. There are two And if you look at the first, well, that's the thing. The quarterfinal games are Rose, Fiesta, Sugar, and Peach Bowl. If we're a 1 or 2 seed, we'll get to pick either the Sugar or the Peach Bowl. If we're the ones we get to pick whichever one we want. If we're the 3 or 4 seed, we're probably getting sent out to like Los Angeles or Arizona to play. That sucks. So yes, it does matter that they automatically put a 1-loss SEC team in front of us, even if we're undefeated. That does matter because what's going to happen? Oh, Georgia's 2. Whoever wins the Big Ten is 1, or the other way around. They're going to pick their games. We're going to be sitting there like crap. Now we got to go to Arizona and play, and that does matter. All that stuff matters, and that's if we don't lose a game. If we lose a game, God help us. When they're like, well, we got 4 loss Alabama here, 1 loss Miami, and I don't know. Vanderbilt was pretty good this year. This is.
We'll end up playing in the Bahamas Bowl if we have 1 loss.
Well, honestly, the way that, and I know the committee. They're not the rankings, but let's be real, they're not gonna throw all those SEC teams out because there's money involved, and when ESPN and Fox invest billions upon billions of dollars into the SEC and the Big Ten because, quote, those are the best conferences, then the committee working for them is going to make sure that the committee selections bear that out, whether the data does or not, because Jazz gave you the data. The data does not bear out that those are the best conferences. And it's one of the kind of interesting things they do in soccer, which they don't do in football, which is, the Champions League in soccer, you get spots based on your league rankings. Everyone talks, oh, this is the best one. But they use math to determine who actually gets the most spots. And everyone always says the English league is the best one. Well, the German and Italian leagues got more spots in the Champions League than them because they earned it on the field. So you can say whatever you want, but they keep advancing further in the tournaments. They play better head to head. Next thing you know, when they run the numbers, guess who's actually the 3rd best league? And that would happen if you ran numbers objectively on the SEC right now. They're not this head and shoulders above everyone else. Because again, stuff like LSU, you don't get a USC bump for brand recognition. You get you have a terrible loss. Right.
Well, I'm wondering how all this would function with the old BCS system. The old BCS system was by no means perfect, but it did involve, I believe, more math than
it did involve more math. Unfortunately, most of the inputs were polls, so I don't know that. True too. Yeah. I don't know that it would help, but as we get into it, it's going to just keep getting worse. They're just going to
they started the math in 2000, right? So
that math didn't work. But this problem is not going away because again, the money has been invested in these conferences and long-term deals that they need them to be. That is their brand. These are the best. It's not. This is the most exciting. This is fun. These are the schools. These are the best. And even if facts bear out that that's not the case, that's still the committee is still going to select that way, and that's unfortunate. And FSU got theirs last year, and there's going to be, whether it's us or not, there's going to, if you look across the ACC and you see how SMU is playing, how Pitt is playing, how Clemson is playing, someone's going to get screwed so that like a 3-loss Ole Miss can be the 11th team in there or whatever.
Is 5-1, I think.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that that's going to happen. And you can extend this to the Big 12 too. Like Iowa State and BYU are undefeated. It's certainly possible. Like they have a 1-loss team and an undefeated team, and that 1-loss team is probably getting left out for a 3-loss Big 10 team. And it's not right, but that's the reality of it. That's where the money is, and that's all they care about. Because right now, winning games does not appear to matter. What happens on the field doesn't appear to matter. Because the other thing that most people don't realize, we obviously do because we follow the Hurricanes. Like, it is almost unheard of to be 7 games into the season in a major conference team and having played 4 road games and 3 home games. We've gone out there and tested ourselves. No, USF is not like let's go play at Alabama or something, but they're outside the Power 5, they're one of the bigger programs. We went to an SEC school and won. We played 2 road conference games. We've traveled all over the freaking country, and we've won every game.
Right.
That is impressive in its own right. Teams don't play 4 road games and 3 home games and go 7-0. No one does that. So
we got
I mean, there's
one more road game, and then the rest are home.
We got 2 more. We have 6 and 6 this year. We have
This is crazy.
really challenged ourselves.
Yeah, we have.
And
Georgia Tech and Syracuse.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that none of that gets
and then
acknowledged.
FSU, Duke, and Wake Forest at home.
Yep. We have 3 home games. Well, and then hopefully the ACC championship game, if it's Clemson, will be another road game. Yeah. But we did challenge it. We scheduled and we went out there and won, and it doesn't matter apparently. So
does Pitt play Clemson this year?
Not sure.
It's gonna be kind of crazy if we have 3 undefeated teams.
I mean, there's no way that's going to maintain all the way through, and I'd have to look at. I'm not sure exactly what the tiebreakers are. Clemson has lost a game because obviously they lost to Georgia.
Right.
Let's see.
Undefeated in the ACC.
Yeah, no, but Pitt plays SMU and Clemson.
Okay.
Those are your undefeated ACC teams, other than us, of course.
Pitt, Clemson, SMU.
Yep.
Gotcha. Well,
and then I don't think Clemson and SMU do not play. So theoretically, there could be 3 undefeated teams in the ACC, but that's not going to happen. Like
anything can happen, man. It's tough.
No, but that's
tough conferences.
That's why it's not going to happen, though.
Yeah,
it's not even the quality though. Like it's just too tough to win all.
It really is.
We're experiencing it now and pulling them out, but it's a tough conference, and that's the reality of it. Except for the team we're playing this week, who's pretty freaking.
Good segue because that was kind of going to be the last thing that we speak about here, real quick. Is obviously it's rivalry week. It's FSU. Are you, Vish? I'll throw this to you first. Are you in the throw out the records crowd? This could go. This is FSU. It's a rivalry game. We know FSU's not great. They're not very good. Miami's awesome. They should kick their ass. But throw out the records. This could be a tight one. Oh, my gosh. I'm nervous. Or are you in like, I don't care about all that other crap. We should beat the living daylight out of them, and we are. Boom. That's it.
I want to run the score up. That's what I want to do.
We're going to if that happens for sure.
Look, I mean, the Cal game concerns me a little bit because that was a bad offense that moved the ball on us. But FSU is one of the worst offenses in the country. Their quarterback situation is actually worse without DJU, believe it or not. You know why Norvell was playing him now. You seen this crap? You see what they're rolling out there now? Like, so I was like, why do you have to back up? I'm like, saw him play against Georgia, and I don't, and that's exactly what he is. Like, these guys should not be on scholarship over there. So,
who's the quarterback? Who is it? It's Brock Glenn.
Brock Glenn right now. He got benched briefly against Duke, came back in. I think he turned over 3 plays in a row.
Wow.
Or something like that, and they got.
Well, we got to do the same thing. We can't make him look like a Heisman quarterback,
right? And so I do think this is a situation where, to answer your question, where the defense has got to find its footing. Like they can't do it here. I mean, this is by far the worst team we're playing the rest of the way, and they're really bad offensively. Their defense is okay. They got some guys there. Their secondary is pretty good. We might struggle a little bit initially to move the ball, but our defense should be able to stop them despite all of the issues we've been talking about. Because if you let this quarterback throw on you, you can't stop anything. So if that's the case, we keep getting the ball back to the offense for once. The offense won't have to hopefully chase the game.
We've got a couple good running backs also, which you can't let them get loose. And we're susceptible to those big plays regardless of who it is. So. Roydell Williams and Toafili, those guys are pretty good running back. I know they got a couple other guys.
Yeah, they have some. Look, they're Florida State. They have some players.
If they can't pass, then just stack the line, right?
Right, they have some players, but this should be. But this is a game where you just got to flex muscle and again they lost to I think what did Duke have 180 yards and they lost to him anyway. Like I mean this is I do think this is one of those situations though where you need to put it away early. Yeah. And I think if you do that, get up 2 scores, they've quit multiple times this year, and I don't think this will be any different, to be honest. But if you let them hang around, this is this is all they have. They're not going to make a bowl game. This is it. Yeah. And so
they're going to come out tippy, and they're going to talk crap, and the whole thing on the field.
Yeah, but there has been a history in this series of when it's a mismatch, it goes. I know everyone's always like, well, a rivalry is. But this one, when one of the teams is good and the other one isn't, it is generally you get those lopsided scores. It's not this is not a series that has lent itself. It's been close most of the time because both these programs have been good most of the time.
Right.
But when there's one that's up and the other one's down, you do get those lopsided games, like Scott Covington get thrown into the goalpost 47-0 in Tallahassee that one year. There have been those games that this team we're playing 7-0 versus 1-6.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to even say that, but that is the matchup. Like this is one that you just gotta dominate.
I expect Cam Moore to have a good game again. I expect him to be able. I think this is a good opportunity to get those tight ends involved again. As you mentioned, Vish, they've got some guys. Cypress on one side is a decent corner. They've got the other kid. I can't remember his name now. On the other side, they've got decent corners, but I mean, obviously our wide receivers, I think are still better. And I still think that we should be able to score, a lot of points and at the end of the day, run the football a little bit. Darrell Jackson has been a disappointment over there for them. Patrick Payton's doing okay, but they're struggling for a reason, man. And they're not a very good football team right now, and you have to continue to get that point across, right? Like you can't make them look better than what they are, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The only thing that I would say is that this team is built a little bit different, man. So emotions aside, you got to put your emotions aside. We get it. It's FSU, and the emotions are going to be running high for both teams. I think the one team, the only thing that I can see us struggling with is FSU trying to. The only thing they're going to try to do is try to get us off our game, right? They're going to try to talk trash. They're going to try to get in our heads that way to be able to try to take advantage of that, or at least keep the score close, right? Where they can have an opportunity to score some points or whatnot, whatever the case is. But I think that if you play the way that we've played, that that confidence on offense and not let anything spook you or get you thrown off your game, I think this is a game where Miami could really dominate and kick the crap out of FSU. I think this is a game where they need to do that. So I'm pretty excited about the game. Is there anything, before we get into predictions, anything that you think will be a key to a game, key to the game, DJ? Just one thing that maybe you think is a key to this game.
Getting the defense back on track. And I know this isn't a strong FSU team offensively, but this defense, as we mentioned earlier in the show, has struggled. And, I think this is a game where our defense can really kind of dig their heels into the ground, get back on track and refocus and try to put together a game where the opposing offense scores under 20.
I like that. Vish, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the way you end this game earlier is by forcing turnovers. FSU has turned the ball over a lot this year. The quarterback is not protective of the ball, generally has not been effective. But again, that Cal game, Cal lost to FSU, and they lost from 14-9, I believe was the final. And FSU has had a couple of games where, their defense has kept them in it. Now, again, we have the best offense in the country, so you'd like to think that won't be an issue here. But the way this game becomes competitive is if you somehow let FSU be effective on offense. And I'm not talking about, scoring as many points as the defense has been giving up, but just moving the chains, keeping our offense off the field, even if it's getting 3 or 4 first downs, then punting, that's a win for them. That's 4 minutes off the clock where we didn't have the ball, where Cam Ward's on the sideline. We've won some field position. We can then use their defense is certainly better than their offense to, use the length of the field to play defense. And, all of a sudden we kick a field goal at the end of the first quarter and we've had the ball once and it's 3-0 and they're in there, right? And so you got to get 3 and outs. You got to dominate defensively and get the ball to our offense. And if you do that early and jump out early, it'll steamroll. But and you should be able to do that to this. This quarterback is terrible.
Yeah.
He's absolutely awful.
Since you guys both went with the defense, which makes sense, I'm going to say get your tight ends involved early and often. Break their will on offense. Run the ball down their throats. And I think you'll be fine one way or the other. I think that's fine. I think if you can score a lot of points, and you can break their defense down, I don't think they got a shot. Bottom line, period. So, prediction time. DJ, what do you got?
Miami 41, Florida State 10.
41-10, Miami. Okay, Vish.
So just I usually do this before the picks, but DJ got it in there. I thought the line I saw was 19.5.
Okay.
My bad, Vish.
No. I
was so excited.
I was asleep at the wheel. I should have got in there. Lord knows I don't need an invitation to butt in and give my opinion. So I'll go even worse. I think hit 50s again. I'm going 55-7.
I would love it.
Garbage touchdown for them. And we all boo because they ruined the shutout in the fourth quarter.
Okay. I'm going to say I'm going to go right in between you guys. I'm going to go 49-14.
Okay.
49-14 Miami. And yeah, those touchdowns are kind of crappy, whatever. But yeah, 49-14.
Oh no, Ralph, what are you doing?
Ralph, what are you doing? Oh no. Don't do it, Ralph. I'm gonna pretend that that's not there. 45-42, Ralph says. Ralph says 45-42. No.
I mean, for those on the audio that listen to the audio later, I'm changing my lineup for FSU 61-3 Miami.
No.
Oh boy, Ralph. We were waiting for you to drop the 45-42 in there for the entire show.
Switch it up on us. Jesus. Can't be doing You're too superstitious over here, man. You can't do that stuff.
Although, let's be real. If any superstition worth the last 20 years wouldn't happen. So I think we've been through every permutation. So you do you, Ralph.
Ain't that the truth?
Last time, all right. We will trust in Ralph.
Okay. Fair enough.
I will say the last time FSU played at the stadium, they lost to Georgia 63-3. So
okay, well,
so Ralph's got them improving by 2 points. So good for the guys up in Tallahassee.
We can do something like that. Make sure, if you're going out to the game, guys, anybody listening, make sure you wear orange. And actually, I
was gonna wear black, and I still think I am because it's FSU's funeral, so you gotta show up in black.
Yeah, I think. I'll probably wear an orange top, but I'm going with my black and stuff. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Make sure you hydrate though. It's gonna be hot out there. Plenty of liquid, so you make it into the stadium.
Yes, please.
These types of things. A lot of people don't make it out of the parking lot. We do want you actually in the stadium.
And come by and say hello. We'll
be in the green lot somewhere.
We're in the green lot tailgating. You'll probably see us out there, but we're in the green lot tailgating. We'll be around. Come by and say what's up and have a shot with us. But aside from that,
we'll also have water. So
we'll take a shot of water.
You can take a shot with us, but then also make sure you're hydrated.
Chase it with water.
We got the economy size pack of liquid IV, so we'll have that out there too if you really need to hydrate.
Nice. We missed Blue today, so no show and tell. His show ran late. But
if you saw his show and tell yesterday, held up in 1982. Miami Hurricanes media guide, which had Jim Kelly and who else was on the cover? Oh man, it's facing, but it was the year before the program went nuclear, so it's the 1982 media guide.
Nice. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at 6 Rings Canes. Subscribe to the 5 Reasons Canes podcast. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. Make sure you check us out every Monday night at 8:30 and potential post games on Sunday mornings now as well, especially this weekend. Obviously, it's a Saturday night game, so no post game after that, but Sunday morning. And
maybe we'll shoot for 11 this time. I feel like
and check out
Sunday's gonna be rough, people. Sunday's gonna be rough.
Noon could even work.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun rough. It'll be a fun rough. It'll be worth it.
It'll be a fun rough.
Make sure you follow Vish and the team over at Mel and them for buckets as well. They got a nice show. They got a cool show.
We got a show tomorrow, and the season is 2 weeks from today.
That's crazy. We got basketball in a couple of weeks. Crazy.
Yeah. The women have an exhibition game on Sunday, and the men have one next Wednesday, and then
we get it going.
Then the real season starts on Monday, the Monday after the Duke game. So
nice.
It's all happening.
Thank you guys for watching the show, and looking forward to Saturday night against FSU. Let's go beat the crap out of those Seminoles.
Right, go Canes.
Go Canes.
The 6 Rig Kane Show. The 6 Rig Kane Show. The 6 Rings Kane Show.